to episode 2 of Two Stoners and a Drunk. Hail 420 because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. With me, I have my two co-hosts, Sith Lord and Mox.
Hail 420.
Hail 420.
And with us today, we also have a special guest, Anthony, a.k.a. Midnight Images, if you want to go on and introduce yourself, Anthony.
How we all doing tonight? Thanks for having me on again, guys. I appreciate it. My name's Anthony. My channel is called Midnight Images, and definitely come by if you like to hear some cool music and see some cool art. And Hail 420.
We appreciate you being with us again, bro.
Yeah,
before we get the show rolling, just one quick thing for me. Say happy birthday to my daughter. It's her birthday today, so she's supposed to be tuning in. So happy birthday to you, darling. I love you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, little hand star.
So 80s music. We'll keep the 80s train rolling. It seemed like everybody really liked the 80s movies last week. So 80s music. Wow. There's just so much to talk about with 80s music. I'm not really like a big 60s or 70s guy, so 80s just really stands out to me. So much of the music that was out and about and things that started in the 80s.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, that's my bag right there.
And
Hey, sorry, Han. I'm just looking at the chat. There's a few people here, but there's one I wanted to call out. Dylan Trickler. That's my roommate. He's at work right now. He's watching us while he's working. So, hope you have a good night, man.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, thanks for tuning in, Dylan, and telling my daughter happy birthday. We hope you enjoy the show and you don't abuse Sith when you get home because you didn't enjoy the show.
I'll be asleep. It don't matter.
So, admittedly, I was not super into music in the 80s because I wasn't born until 79. So, my first big memory of the 80s is my parents were kind of into like classic rock stuff we would call now, Grateful Dead, Dr. Hook, stuff like that, Hank Williams Jr. So I remember when one of my older sisters bought the Bangles first album.
And
popped the tape in, or it was either tape or an album, I forget, and Walk Like an Egyptian come on. And my dad was like, what the fuck is that?
Nah, man, I remember as a kid, I had that album. That was a good album. You know, when you're a kid, you're still feeling out all the different, especially musically, you're still feeling it all out to see what catches you. And like, there was a few tunes on that album that, you wouldn't think somebody who became into like heavy metal and rock and blues would be listening to. But yeah, man, that was a good album.
Yeah, very good.
Manic Monday. I mean, come on. Who didn't have a crush on Susanna Hoffs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I'd have to smoke to that one. Yeah.
I have to ask, maybe Anthony, I know that Prince wrote Manic Monday. How much of that album did he write for them?
I don't know off the top of my head. I do know that when it comes to Prince, he doesn't really write full albums for people. So I would be surprised if it was more than 2. He'll usually like write a song, maybe 2, for somebody. Like even just going back to like the late, I know we're talking about 80s music, but going back to the late 90s, there was a blues guy, young kid named Johnny Lang. On his second album, or I guess technically his third, but his second mainstream album, Prince wrote a song for him, and like he was like a no-name, at the time. Like nobody. He probably still is to a lot of people. A lot of people probably don't even know who he is unless you're into blues music. But so I mean, I'd have to look it up, but I'd probably say he probably only wrote the one. But there's a chance that maybe there might be 2. He was a lot, It was the 80s. That was his time, so he was around a lot more, So
I remember my parents had the Purple Rain album.
Oh, good album.
I wish I had that album. When they moved, they sold all their albums to some like records. Had good albums.
Oh, good album. Sorry. That was me.
It's funny, man, because if you pull up like top 80 songs, I could listen to every single song on the list I see. Yeah, you're talking about the Police, Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, Aha, Prince, Human League, Cyndi Lauper. I mean, there's so many good artists.
Well, I mean, I guess we can't start a conversation about 80s music without referencing when 80s music really became a thing. And that was August 1st, 1981. That was the dawn of MTV.
Oh, yeah.
Because people forget that disco was still a thing in the early 80s. You know, like disco, everybody thinks of it as a 70s thing. Disco is still going strong in 1980, 1981, even going into 82. If MTV didn't come around, I think we would have probably seen disco go at least to like 85, 86. You know, like
I didn't even think about MTV. I remember when we had cable when we first got MTV when it first started, and like you said, I think that pushed a lot of the 80s music in the look. Everybody saw the videos and the look that now if you see that look, you're like, hey, that's the 80s.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, and you know, and I mean, the first song that they played, "Video Killed the Radio Star." I mean,
oh yeah, how fitting was that?
I know, it was definitely purposely done, but everybody, even if you don't know the band or the all the lyrics, everybody knows that line. You know what I mean? And like, it's just that's the one thing about 80s music is that even if you weren't a big fan of the song at the time or anything, like, you know, a line from almost every song that was successful during the 80s, you know. So it was a good decade.
You know, my dad was a huge boxing fan. Well, he wasn't just a fan, he was a boxer in his younger years. And of course, you know, I got drug along to the drive-in theater, you know, that thing that we don't have anymore. And they put the little music box that you had to pull off the pole and in the window, and we were sitting there, and the first sounds I heard was this guitar and drum beat, and it was Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, because we'd went go see Rocky. That was like one of the first songs I truly remember from the 80s.
Yeah, man.
And such a fitting song if your dad was a boxer. To be listening to Eye of the Tiger, because everybody now, if you hear Eye of the Tiger, you can picture Rocky, you know, training, running up and down the stairs and all that stuff. You know, every time you hear that song, that's what pops in my mind.
I think that's the thing. Like when you hear 80s music, you literally get a vision of something, whether it be a movie, a TV show, hanging out with some friends or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, being at a dance, like a high school dance or a wedding or something, you know, especially weddings.
Back in the 80s, when I first realized that music was a thing to be had, my first experiences was, say, Van Halen, Rat, Def Leppard. You know, to me, the 1984 album, man, I love that album cover. That's what draws me back to it, was that album cover.
So you were a hair metal kid.
I like I like pop, rap, rock, or what they want to call hairband rock, arena rock, whatever. You know, I loved all of it, man. I just, at the time, I couldn't stand country. I couldn't stand much of anything else. The 80s were my time as far as music. You know, it's a wonderful time to be had.
And you did have that kind of music dividing line in the 80s. You kind of started to get your genres dividing, and you had the rocker, hair band, heavy metal kids. You had the ones that were more into the pop music, you know, like it's always been, I guess, through every decade. You kind of have your separations of different audiences, certain kinds of music.
Yeah, the kids wearing all the neon, you know, fat shoelaces and the funky looking clothes and the big old T-shirts with the big ass writing on it. It's just, you know, it's like, wow, you know, that was the time to be had, and I loved it all. Music, movies, TV, you know, that's what I grew up on, man. You know, that's what it always takes me back to.
Jesus, who didn't have a members only jacket or at least want one like
Oh,
hell?
I did. I had one that was like navy blue.
Or you, if you were the cool kid, you had on the jean jacket or the leather one with the jean jacket under it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, jean jackets. Yeah, talk about a fashion thing from the 80s. The jean jackets and the like the ripped up stonewashed looking pants.
Oh yeah, I had my denim jacket with all the patches all over it, and the leather jacket came later, like late 80s, early 90s. That's when I finally got my first real leather jacket. I still have it to this day, hanging in the closet.
Nice.
That's the thing about real leather, man. If you take care of it, it lasts forever.
Yeah. The only thing that's messed up on it are all the pockets. I can't put anything in the pockets because they'll just fall out. But yeah, it was the old school metal, with the biker jacket with all the zippers all over it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, DJ Odyssey was rocking the parachute pants.
Yes, parachute pants.
Probably doing the moonwalk while he did it.
That was the other thing, that became popular in the 80s was the more what I guess I would call a generic term like the street music, Run DMC, the Pumas with the fat
that's what,
and all that stuff or no laces.
That's when hip hop was cool. Like, I mean, I as much as like a rock fan I am, like I would listen to. I mean, I have like the first 4 Run DMC albums, NWA.
Oh yeah, NWA. Yeah.
Who's the other one? They actually in the 90s did a song with Anthrax, Public Enemy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're talking 80s, but that song they did with Anthrax was a great song.
Oh yeah. Well, they took one of their. I think it was one of their songs originally, and then like they kind of redid it with Anthrax, and technically I think it was like a late 80s song. I think when they first released it, it was 89.
Was it Bring the Noise? Was that the name of it?
Yeah. The only part of that I think carried over from their original song was the, Turn It Up, Bring the Noise. And then they rewrote everything with Anthrax. But that was a great song. And it was 91, so it wasn't too far outside the 80s.
So Demonic King says, there will never be a band greater than Pantera. Honestly, I was never a big Pantera fan, but one of my sisters was. She loved Pantera.
Yeah, no, but I love Pantera. But again, another 90s band.
Yeah. I only like a little bit of Pantera. When it comes to music like that, I always want to fall back to say something like Megadeth.
Megadeth, yeah. Dave Mustaine. Although... And it's funny because you'll see, I'm going to have a buddy of mine come on and we're going to do like, I guess kind of like music reviews, but more like just kind of like what we're doing now, but like specific to like one band or one album. And for years, we both love Megadeth, we both love Metallica, but for years we have an ongoing feud of which one's the better band. And I always say Metallica and he always says Megadeth. And that's like one of our like inner joking feud.
Well, yeah, but still, even that Megadeth and Metallica, that's a good little toss up,
Yeah. Well, and I said to him like years later when I kind of understood more about like the recording process, and I said, I think why all these years I've always liked Metallica more is just their albums were better produced.
Right.
Like Megadeth always sounded very tinny, very like hollow, like there wasn't a lot of like meat to them, Whereas even like the early, Metallica albums would Kill 'Em All in 82 and Ride the Lightning in 84. Master of Puppets, I say, is their best album. I mean, you can't.
My first real introduction to Metallica was And Justice for All. And then I just started, then everybody loves the Black Album. So Master of Puppets. Yeah. I like the Garage Days Revisited personally.
Oh, that's good. Well, I think everybody, like especially in our age bracket, I think everybody's introduction to Metallica was And Justice because, it came out in 88, 89, something like that. So we were all a little bit older. It was their first time they ever put a video out, which was for One.
Well, yeah, that was the very first metal I ever heard.
Yeah. So I love And Justice for All. It's one of the greatest. But again, that album, because of Cliff Burton dying after Master of Puppets, And then they got Jason Newsted, but what they did was they had him come in and they taught him, they wrote bass lines for him and stuff, and they had him record the bass lines. But what they did was right before they went to print on the album, they actually turned off all the bass lines. So there's no bass on that album. Out of respect for Burton.
Right.
Like if you go and listen to any And Justice for All songs played live by the band when they had Newsted, and then you listen to the same song off the album, you'll hear the bass line is incredible, but like when you go back and listen to the album, it's not there. And
never noticed that.
Yeah, and that's what another thing I always said. Master of Puppets, I think, was their best album over Injustice, just because it sounded better. But also, you have to think up until that point, it was the same four guys. That was their third album. That was like the climax of those four guys, like touring, writing, recording together. And then finally they came out with this masterpiece, and then they're on tour and they get into a bus crash and, and the poor guy dies. That guy played lead bass. I don't care what anybody says. He wasn't a bass player. He was a lead guitar player that just happened to play bass, and he fingerpicked everything. He fingerpicked metal before anybody was fingerpicking metal. Cliff Burton, I mean, that album, and then they have to start over again. And Justice for All is like Kill 'Em All Part 2. It's like they just started over, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then they went in a whole different direction after that, which is fine. I everybody gave him flack for it, but I actually enjoyed all this stuff, except for Saint Anger. I think that was their most horrid album. But the Load and the Reload, I didn't mind it. I actually liked those albums, because like after 25 years at that point, how often can you write the same crap? You know what I mean? You gotta.
Yeah. I know exactly where you're coming from.
Pulling teeth, yeah, Wookie. Pulling Teeth is the classic.
You could tell those guys really had fun on those albums, though, because that was as much music for the fans, but it was their music for themselves.
Well, yeah, the Load and Reload albums was the first time Hetfield and Ulrich decided to even Kirk Hammett up until that point had no creative control. I think even his solos were written by Hetfield for the most part. I mean, obviously he had a little leeway there, but it was the first time they were able to actually get in on the writing and contribute creatively to the music. That's why it sounded so different,
Yeah.
So
great albums, though.
Yeah.
I thought of an 80s band talking about rock and music that to this day is still in pop culture, and you still hear it in movies, and everybody I know still rocks all their albums. AC/DC.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to this day, think how deep they are in the culture. And I mean, you can see a movie tomorrow and there's an AC/DC track in it,
The second you start hearing that opening lick from Thunderstruck, everybody's hair in the back of their neck just stand up and they get pumped up, You just start hearing and you're just like thunder.
I can't get behind the wheel and hear that song, man.
I mean, I still love 80s music. A lot of people do, but if you want to talk about something that stood the test of time, AC/DC has stood the test of time. To me, it's one of those timeless groups. All their albums to this day, to me, are, in my opinion, classics, although they're not that old, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'd have to say the best rock album came out of the 80s, and overall from start to finish, and that was Appetite for Destruction.
Oh
yeah.
That's got to be the best rock album ever. I mean, people will argue that, they'll go back to Led Zeppelin, they'll go back to an AC/DC album, but start to finish, Appetite for Destruction, there's not one song that you skip. You just listen to it straight through. You know what I mean? And it was the epitome of 80s rock. I mean, it came out right in the middle of the 80s, and the decadence of it, it literally embodied the decadence of the 80s, especially for like rock and metal, you know.
And they're still talking again towards like AC/DC. There's still so many songs from that album that you still hear to this day, and even kids that were nowhere around even close to the 80s, you play one of those songs like Sweet Child of Mine or something like that, and people automatically know it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, first 2 or 3 chords on that, and you know it's Sweet Child of Mine, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dylan in the chat, Dylan pointed out, you know, about this, even the Rolling Stones still doing concerts.
Yeah, I think they've pickled themselves pretty good.
Well, yeah, but just not even a month now. The Stones were here in Jacksonville, and that place rocked out.
Oh yeah, they're still selling arenas out, aren't they, to this day?
Yeah.
Well, Jagger took off because of some kind of a heart problem or heart condition, but he came back. He went and got himself healed up and went through rehab and all that good stuff, and they were just here. So, because as a matter of fact, Dylan in the chat was part of the security for the concert. He's a security guard, so he actually got to be there at the concert. So, yeah, they're still jamming, dude.
Brian the Observer, I hear Jagger sold his soul. That could be, or he's a vampire or something. I don't know.
Welcome, Brian.
Keith Richards just basically embalmed himself, and he'll never die.
Yeah.
You know? Or if he ever does and he's cremated, he'll burn for weeks.
Like Dennis Leary said, it's like we can't do any more drugs because Keith Richards did them all. We have to wait till he dies and smoke his ashes.
Motorhead, that was definitely a kick-ass band. They were edgy as hell.
Yeah, definitely. Wookie saying Sabbath. Well, Sabbath again is actually technically Sabbath is a 60s band, unless you count the Dio years, and that's an 80s band, which is now
Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah,
buddy.
I think they're calling, what do they call that? They stopped calling that Black Sabbath, and they're calling it Heaven and Hell or something like that. When they refer to those years now. Yeah, but Ronnie James Dio, I mean, God, yeah, you just, when you think like, I mean, you wouldn't have, like I saw someone mention Iron Maiden, you wouldn't have an Iron Maiden without Ronnie James Dio. The fantasy metal, you know what I mean? The sword and sorcerer type stuff, you know? Like that stuff is like, same thing like Overkill. My art teacher did 4 album covers for Overkill, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He had a signed album cover enclosed in like this plastic case mounted on his office door from the guys. And like I always forget the lead singer's name, and I met him like a handful of times because he would come in and stop by and say hi to him because he was his art teacher when he was in high school, years and years before me.
I think I told you this before, but that band Dokken, that I don't think a lot of people even know who that is.
You just stole my thunder. I was about to mention Dokken because of the story you got with that.
Hold on a second. I just want to address Wookie. He's saying Heaven and Hell was an album, which it was, but I think that's why they call those years, when they refer to the band, they refer to it as Heaven and Hell, rather than Sabbath, you know, with Ronnie James Dio, which they just shorten it. Like, it's not official. I don't think it's like an official thing. Like you know, they're still considered Black Sabbath, but when they talk about that lineup, they call it the Heaven and Hell lineup. So,
to me, if you don't have Ozzy in there, it just wasn't really Sabbath anymore.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but you know, you got to think about it this way: if Ozzy was still in Sabbath, we would never have albums like Heaven and Hell. And we would never have albums like you know, Bark at the Moon, Crazy Train, and all that stuff. Like, so nobody would. Well, I shouldn't say nobody would know who Randy Rhoads would be. I'm sure they would. I'm sure he would have found someone else. But that was the perfect combination: Ozzy and Randy Rhoads.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when after he died, and then they got Zakk Wylde. Like, I used to actually buy guitar strings off Zakk Wylde. He used to work at the local guitar shop by where I grew up before he, you know, jumped on board with Ozzy. And I remember seeing like the very first video from Mom, I'm Coming Home, and I'm like, dude, I think I just bought guitar strings off that guy like last month.
Like, man, I wonder where he went, man.
So, yeah, he's a cool guy. They, him and what's the other guy's name from Black Label Society? They had a studio, a rehearsal studio, not too far from where I live. Although I think they closed it down, but yeah, no, those are cool guys. I met them a handful of times.
Yeah, Black Label Society ain't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Robert Trujillo, John Savario, Zach Wild, a couple other guys in there, I think.
Yeah. Well, when Zach first joined up with Ozzy, what are you talking about?
Oh no, I was looking up the Black Label Society members because I have a few of their songs. Yeah. Over the different years, they've had like Zach Wild, Robert Trujillo, John Savario, Nick Cantacine, James Lamazio, Mike Inez, Will Hunt. John Kelly was on drums in 2011. So was Chad Zeglia.
Well, Mike Inez was the bass player that joined with Zach with Ozzy in that lineup in the late 80s. And then in the 90s, after Mike Starr left Alice in Chains, he actually went and took over Alice in Chains. And that's how Alice in Chains and Metallica became good friends in the 90s, because they knew Mike Inez from touring with Ozzy. And so in the Alice in Chains Unplugged, you see Mike Inez playing his acoustic bass, and on it says "Friends don't let friends cut their hair," and that was a little jab at Metallica, because that was when the Load albums came out and they had all cut their hair. So
yeah, that's when they went corporate.
Yeah, little trivia there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We're getting a musical education for real here.
Yeah. And I went and did some homework today, and I got some off the wall stuff here that I'm looking at, but can't compare to Anthony.
Well, the best thing about 80s music, regardless of what genre you're talking about, is any of those songs, like pop songs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they were written and played to the era that they were in. So they were using the technology that was new to them. So synthesizers and this and that. But They make the best metal covers. You know, like you could take any 80s song, and it doesn't matter who sang it, who wrote. You take a Cyndi Lauper song, and you could turn it into a metal cover, and it would sound killer.
Yeah, there's a channel I watch on YouTube. It's called Frog Leap Studios.
Oh yeah. Marchioli. Yeah. He's badass.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I love that stuff, man. He makes metal out of anything.
Yeah. He's remade some amazing songs on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does a good job. He does a really good. I mean, I've heard some that I've heard other bands cover, and I'm, sometimes because I'm a little, I know both versions. I'm like, the other version, the other guys did a better metal cover. But I mean, he's a talented dude across the board. He's a great videographer. He's a great musician. He's a great singer. He's funny. He's just an entertainer. He's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He's also, the thing that I like about him is in some of his videos, you get to see it. Like he plays every instrument in the song and puts it all together himself. And he's, I think, like a producer and does some other stuff over there in his home country.
Yeah. Where's he from again?
Like Norway, Denmark. I mean,
it's right around there, right? He's like Norwegian or
yeah, he is Norwegian. And the funny thing about it is, he came out with this video a few months ago, and he did a metal cover to Madness, Our House. Okay, yeah. Another great 80s song. At the same time, he was legitimately trying to sell his house. His house was up for sale when he made that video.
Yeah, he did that, and at the end, the family was standing with a sign: "Our house really is for sale. Contact me."
Yep.
It is really for sale.
From a mod's point of view for promotions, like, damn, that's pretty good, guy. I like that.
Yeah. Brian says he likes metal covers of 80s action show themes. What's funny is, it has nothing to do, but my bass player who passed away a couple of years ago was actually a killer guitar player. He was the youngest in our group, and he just wanted to jam with us, so he played bass because we needed a bass player. but he could play guitar better than me and the other guy. And his favorite thing, like he loved stuff like Iron Maiden, so he had that like Dio, so that fantasy metal vibe to his playing. He, if I find it, we'll play it on air one day. He did Super Mario Brothers, but metal, like fantasy metal style.
Oh wow, that was good.
It was awesome. It was just all instrumental, and it sounded like you wanted to be like on the mountaintop holding a sword up, you know, with like a dragon flying in the background. It was cool. It was awesome.
No, a band that really doesn't get mentioned a lot, and it's a shame because they've done some really great music. Was Quiet Riot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They did a song called Thunderbird, and very few people have ever heard of this song, but that is one of the most beautiful songs of that 80s rock ballad stuff. And it's just really great music that you don't really hear a lot of, and don't hear it now at all.
No, I know. No, that was a good song. I actually know that song. That's a good song. That guy could sing. You know, it was definitely that raspy, you know, thing that's some people I guess don't like, but I love it. I love when people have that raspy voice.
You know, somebody that just did a remake of an 80s song they did is Dee Snider, and he did the acoustic version of We're Not Gonna Take It. And
the stripped down version of it.
Yes.
That dude, a piano player.
Yeah. That was amazing, because like you hear him back in the day and you're thinking, you can't really sing that well, and you hear him like acoustically like this with piano, and it's like, oh wow, like I should have listened better.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. This, like I said, this list I made, Twisted Sister was in that list, and that's the first song that came to mind.
Oh yeah, I love that Twisted Sister song.
Well, if you go back to my very first video on my channel, I did it was a FU to Anti-Comicsgate, and I take the intro from the original video for We're Not Gonna Take It, where like they're if you guys remember the video, it's the family sitting around a table eating, and you know, he has that militant father, and he gets sent to his room, and then he starts playing the music, and the father goes up and starts yelling, and then he's like this whole thing. But I went in and I edited like Mark Wade's picture over like the father's face and like changed some of the words to fit like what was going on at the time. And then it breaks into the piano version of We're Not Gonna Take It. Then I have like a cutaway where I segment into Ethan Van Sciver's I'm the Leader of Comicsgate video, but just the audio of it. And then it breaks into the official version of We're Not Gonna Take It, where it rocks out towards the end. I love the video. I'm kind of proud of it, and I did it on some cheesy ass software, so it is kind of cheesy, but it's awesome. You guys should go take a look at it, especially if you like both versions of that song.
Cool.
Yeah.
We were kind of commenting on it, how the music for the time was kind of experimental with the technology. Think about Devo.
Oh yeah.
All the experimental and off the wall stuff nobody had ever heard before that Devo put out in the 80s.
I mean, Whip It.
Yeah.
That was a great song.
And I mean, even their look and everything. You know, you see electronic music people nowadays that have that weird look and they have the synthesizer and everything, but you think Devo kind of pioneered that in a way, you know.
Well, yeah, them and Men at Work. Was it Men at Work? No, Men at Work.
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, Men at Work.
Yeah, they had that electronic sound. Was kind of like a cross between like soft rock and like that pop, like that electronic sound.
Duran Duran.
I was just gonna say Duran Duran. you know, hungry like the wolves.
Yep. Rio. NXS.
Oh,
wow. We truly lost a future legend with him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was one of the first, I'm sure there was more, but that was one of the first like suicide, like rock, you know, music star suicides I remember, like in my lifetime. Um, that was rough. Cause that guy could sing. He had like a smoothness to his voice. I don't know. Yeah, that was bad.
Another band I like from the 80s that's still around and still doing their thing, the Beastie Boys. I mean,
well,
like,
are they? Because
Right to Party and stuff like that. Everybody knows that song.
Are they still doing stuff? Because didn't what's his face die?
Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
No. MCA, Adam Yoggin. He died.
He did, didn't he?
I think he had throat cancer or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so I may be a little late on saying they're still doing their thing.
Yes, Wookie. Anthrax is awesome, and I don't know. I do like the John Bush albums also. I don't know if that makes me a turncoat. I know there's a big rift between John and who's the original singer? His name was John too. No.
Oh, hey Rosetta, welcome to the show, darling.
Rosetta.
Well, I know a band that I haven't heard tonight that I'm kind of surprised, but Slayer.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we might as well round out the big four. We talked about Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth. You got to round out the big four.
Yeah, and I'm ashamed of myself. My roommate's a big metalhead, and he's like, "You haven't heard this? You haven't heard that?" And I get introduced to a lot of great music, and I'm surprised I didn't come up with Slayer because that's one of his favorites.
I'll be right back. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm kind of worried about your roommate though, Sith, because I don't know if you saw this comment.
Which one?
Metal is great and all, but have you ever heard "Wrecking Ball" by Miley Cyrus?
I think you
Somebody,
need to give him an eviction notice.
Hold on. Someone needs to put that boy in a timeout. No. No, Dylan. No. Not hell no, but hell fuck no. You know, ain't no Miley nothing in here.
We do have a lot of hair band lovers and 80s rock lovers in here, it seems like. In the majority of the chat.
You know, you got Bon Jovi on top of that.
Skid Row.
Skid Row, Foreigner. Oh man, there's quite a few great ones.
Lita Ford.
Yeah, Lita Ford. Her. I do. 38 Special.
Annie Ford. That name, what did she say?
Lita Ford.
Oh, Lita Ford.
Yeah, Touch Me Deadly, Kiss Me
Once. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
She did a couple of really kick-ass songs, but she was like one of the few like true standout rock chicks that could play the guitar and like really stand on her own.
Well, hold on now. Hold on. You talking like that, Mox? Well, what about some of the greatest?
What are you talking about, Heart?
Heart. You got oh my God. Never mind. Forget it. My brain farted.
You're stoned, aren't you?
Not in the least, no.
It is two stoners and a drunk. So I mean, y'all got to hold up your end of being stoners.
Well, I kind of, dude. Come on. I know you're a stoner, Mox. Fuck, I lost my weed card last. I lost my weed, dude. I lost my weed card last week. Remember?
Oh man.
I ain't seen no Cheech and Chong movies, so I lost my weed card last week. So
are you stoned now?
Yeah.
I give the card back.
Okay. No, I was trying to hide it.
I'm still kind of questioning Sith being a stoner if he hadn't seen the Cheech and Chong movies. I thought that was like required watching before you could have your first joint.
Well, I didn't go to weed school, hon. I just picked it up as a habit, and I was like, okay, all right, whatever. I didn't know there was a class.
Everybody's got to have a hobby.
Yeah. I do remember now, Mox. I'm sorry. Fucking Joan Jett and Pat Benatar.
Hell yeah. But there were, like we're saying, there's only a handful of women in those 80s that like truly stood out. Like they could play guitar, they could sing, all of the and put on the show and stuff. There weren't a lot of them, but they were great. The few we had.
Yeah.
What I missed? Are we talking about Ladies of Rock?
Oh, yes, sir.
You missed just before that. You missed that Sith is going to have his stoner card removed because he's never seen any of the Cheech and Chong movies.
Oh, dude, you got to have your card removed.
See, he remembers. I lost my card last week, so they're asking me, "Are you stoned?" I'm like, "No." Why are you here?
Did you guys mention the Runaways?
Oh wow, no, we didn't.
I mean, that had all of them: Lita Ford, Joan Jett. They were all in that band. Vixen.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, Vixen. Yeah.
So I knew Anthony was a good choice as a guest tonight.
I'm looking for something because I saw Wookie made a comment and I want to see. I don't want to refer to it. I'm just looking for something, but I'm listening.
Anthony, come on. You know it's Wookie. He's always going to make a comment.
Yeah, well, no, this was a good one.
Okay. Okay, cool. Just messing with you, Wookie. I hope you realize that.
Oh wow, Wendy O. Williams. You guys remember her?
Wendy O.
Never heard.
Oh wow, she committed suicide in '98, but she put out quite a few songs in the '80s, and they were pretty rocking. They were almost border on the extreme.
I have a horrible memory, so I may have heard some of her stuff before.
Well, I'm gonna share this with y'all. I think it's okay to drop in the chat. I don't think we have anybody I need to really be overly concerned about being shocked. If you came to a show called Two Stoners and a Drunk.
What are you about to put in there, man? Come on.
Wendy O. Williams.
Oh, okay.
Did you mean to drop it in our chat or the
No, the live chat. Live chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to know what the name of the song is?
Sure.
Ain't none of your business.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow,
I can't find it, Wookie, but yes, I do remember Paul's Boutique, and I used to have the cassette tape. I still have all my cassette tapes, but I was going to pull it out.
I have a few myself. There's some guilty pleasures in there.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe you still have cassettes.
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, I got rid of all my cassettes when I upgraded to CDs.
I know. I still say to this day, cassette tapes are the best medium to listen to music to. Because here's why I say this. It might not be as crystal clear as a CD, but you get a scratch on a CD and what happens? It skips, right?
Yeah.
If your cassette tape, if the tape got like wrinkled or something like that, yeah, it might be like real quick, but it would play right through and get right with the, you know what I mean? Like there was no, like you just muscle through that one part real quick, you know?
Yeah. I think tapes are making a comeback kind of like albums did. Yeah. I think they're kind of becoming a retro cool thing again to have cassette tapes.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Man, I wish I could.
Yeah, Wookie. How many kids don't know anything about Get the Pencil?
Yeah, for real.
Half my cassette collection came from you remember the old Capitol Records or BMI?
Oh, you talking about the mail-in clubs?
Yeah.
Where they give you like 85 cassettes for free if you bought one within like the next year or two in the next year or something.
Right. So I was like 12 or 13. You don't have to be 18 to do it. I was like 12 or 13 and I kept doing it. And then they would call up looking for the bill and my grandmother would have to get on the phone and be like, he's only 13 years old. Stop calling his house. So I got all my cassettes for free.
But then I got a couple more, but they're like almost one and the same. You got Steve Perry and Journey.
Oh yeah, you can't talk about the 80s without talking about Journey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that man had a great voice, and they do have a knockoff Steve Perry with them now, but it's not Steve Perry.
I gotta give that kid credit. I mean, they found him on a YouTube video at a karaoke night somewhere in, like, where's he from? Philippines or something like that?
Yeah, he's from around there.
So, I mean, good for him.
Yeah, indeed. He does. I mean, that kid does have a unique voice all his own. It's close to Perry's in a lot of ways. I like his ability, but I'm an 80s kid, man. Journey with Steve Perry.
Well, everybody forgets the guy they had in between. The guy looked and sounded like Steve Perry, except he had curly hair like Kenny G.
Mm-hmm.
And his name was Steve O'Jerry. And everybody forgets about him.
But then we got. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that it's like at that point, like they like literally got someone who looked, sounded, and whose name was so close to Steve Perry's. I think that's probably why they got rid of him. They're like, this guy's just way too close to Steve Perry.
And the Kenny G hair couldn't have helped.
Yeah, that didn't help.
Yeah, he had hair, but it was the wrong kind of hair.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we got another great Billy Idol.
Yeah, Billy Idol. That I still I know we're talking about the 80s, but I still love that from The Wedding Singer when he's on the plane and Billy Idol also happens to supposedly be on the plane.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, he
But then
was
we got-
really.
Talking about the 80s, that's a great soundtrack. The Wedding Singer soundtrack, because it's all it's all 80s music.
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah, but is it cover stuff or is it the actual artist?
No, it's the actual songs from the 80s.
Sweet. Might have to look that one up.
Huey Lewis in the News. Can't think
Yes,
of
sir.
it without Huey Lewis in
Yes,
the
sir.
News.
They were on my list also, but I was going to wait until later to mention it.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks,
just-
Anthony. I appreciate that.
I'll
Yeah, man.
shut up now.
Thanks for stealing the thunder.
Damn it. Han took it. Now you took it. Mox,
But-
you're next.
But you're a stoner. You would have forgot that you had already remembered it.
Hey, no, I got a notepad in front of me, man. I keep a score.
You forget to read it. We're stoners.
Oh, Lord.
Queensryche was a kick-ass band. They were kind of
Yes.
a Rush knockoff, but they were damn good.
Yes.
Queensryche, yeah.
Foreigner. That's another good one. Foreigner.
The funny part about
Foreigner.
Queensryche was when they split, when Jeff Tate left the band, and then there was two Queensryches touring around. It reminded me of like back in the 70s when Frankie Valli and his buddy and the other two guys split up, and there was two like Four Season groups touring around. It was a little weird, but and then there was with Queensryche there was a lawsuit, and I think now Jeff Tate can't use the name, but he has sole access to Operation Mindcry. So Queensryche, the actual band with whatever singer they have now, can't play Operation Mindcry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Samantha Fox, Candy Cane with
Mm.
Samantha Fox.
Good call, Candy. Good call. We all remember Fox.
Yeah, wasn't she like a porn star first?
I think she did a little bit of both. I don't know.
Or like she posed in Playboy or something? I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely some nudes of her out there, so I know she was in at least Playboy.
Yeah, definitely.
And Rosetta mentioned David Bowie.
Oh yeah.
Bowie.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's mentioned Kiss.
Wow. Well, Kiss to me was more of a 70-ish era.
And,
But until they took the makeup off, then that was completely different.
Yeah, that was the 80s. That was,
Yeah.
God Gave Rock and Roll to You, and
Lick It Up.
Lick It Up was from the 80s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Lick It Up. Tears Are Falling. This is these videos they had the makeup off.
Yeah, what was the one?
Tell them about it.
It's like one of my favorite songs. Some about. I can't think of it right now.
I was honestly never a big Kiss fan.
No?
No, I just never really got into Kiss.
Boo. No.
They had some good songs, you know, depending on what you heard. They were really a great stadium band, though.
I mean, some of their songs are all right. I just never really got into them as a whole.
How about some Don Henley, guys?
Yeah, he definitely had some great tunes in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got Phil Collins.
Yep.
Genesis.
Both are good. You know, he was good with and by himself.
What else?
Oh, there. All right. I was thinking about this when it was the first one I wrote down today. I did a little research. I turned on iHeartRadio and just let the 80s play. And I've heard a couple versions of the song, and honestly, I can say I like Marilyn Manson's version better, but Soft Cell, Tainted Love.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Soft Cell.
Wow, what was that other song he covered by? It was the Eurythmics, I believe, and they were a hell of a band.
Sweet Dreams.
Yeah, Sweet Dreams.
That's what I'm saying. All these 80s stuff make great like metal songs later on. Like Phil Collins. Man, I shouldn't smoke before I do these things.
No, DJ. No, we're not talking about no.
Yes, we're gonna have to kick DJ out, the Village People.
What's
his, definitely Disturbed covering The Sound of Silence. That was awesome.
Yes, that was beautiful.
Well, speaking of Disturbed and going with like Genesis, I mean, them doing Land of Confusion.
Oh yeah, that was an awesome cover.
That song was almost like Phil Collins wrote that song 20 years earlier just so that Disturbed could cover it. Like it fit them so well. Like the rhythm and everything. It was a kick-ass cover. I mean, can't.
Yeah, of course.
I've been hellified impressed. Like when I watched Queen of the Damned and I had the behind-the-scenes stuff in the movie. It goes in showing Jonathan Davies and all those different artists coming in and him singing secondary track that they merged together to get that sound that was so unique for the movie. And to find out like how much work David Draymond had done to become such a great vocalist and do, you know, for that type of music, you tear your throat all to hell. And he's went to actual classical like trainers to teach him to be better. It's amazing to watch somebody like try to master their craft. It's like he's really put in work.
Yes. I think a lot of people didn't like The Sound of Silence because it was like so far from like the Disturbed sound, but I appreciated it. I liked it a lot.
Are you kidding me? The first time I heard that song, it was the version where they were on the talk show, and he did that song, and I'm like, that was like some of the most beautiful pieces of music I've heard in a long time. I was blown away by it.
Well, he did a side band. He shouldn't have because it sounded just like Disturbed, and the name of the band actually began with a D. Also, I can't think of the name of it. But the one thing that sticks out in my mind from it is him and Lizzie Hale did a cover of "Close My Eyes Forever" from Ozzy and Lita Ford, and that was incredible.
Yeah,
that's an incredible cover.
What was it? Close Your Eyes or Close My Eyes Forever or something like that?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah, that was an awesome tune.
Yeah, and Device. Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of it. Yeah, if you look it up, him and Lizzie Hale do a cover of that. Cover of that song. It's really good. Lizzie Hale does a lot of 80s covers. She did a kick-ass version of Heart's the one where what was the Heart song where she like meets some dude and has a one-night stand and has his kid?
Yeah, I know when you're talking about.
It was a rainy night. Oh.
I know the song. I hear it in my head, man.
Yeah. All I want to do is make love to you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, she does a killer version of that song.
I like DJ's comment. Disturbed cover of Sound of Silence is my most requested song on my radio show, and the average age of my listeners are 60 years old.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he does a bang up job. I like it a lot. I know a lot of my metalhead friends are like, "Oh, come on, that's not Disturbed." I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's Disturbed. What are you gonna do?" You know.
Candy Cane was helping us out, and we didn't even notice.
Where?
All I want to do is make love to you.
There you are. There it is. How did we not mention John Cougar Mellencamp?
My parents were big John Cougar Mellencamp fans.
Oh yeah.
Those are some his older albums. Those are still albums I could put on and just listen to the whole album.
Yeah, he's a good man. It sucks that I think he had like throat cancer, and he really can't sing that well anymore.
Yeah, he had like a 6-pack a day cigarette habit when he was married to that famous girl.
Yeah. He, a lot of his newer stuff sounds like where he's like really just kind of like talk singing through it. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
like Leonard.
He can't really do the pitch or anything anymore.
Yeah, it's like Leonard Cohen style stuff. So.
How about some good old fashioned Guns N' Roses?
DJ Odyssey, John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, one of my favorite all-time bands. Eddie and the Cruisers, one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
I actually cover one of their songs on my channel. You can go check it out. I do the New York City song.
Wookie said Black Flag.
That's a 70s band.
I've seen the chat light up with everything from Jane's Addiction, The Cure, Rick Springfield.
The Cure, yes. Jane's Addiction, yeah, they started out in the 80s. Well, technically so did Nine Inch Nails. Nine Inch Nails came out in 88, 89. So.
Kenny Loggins. I'm sorry.
Well, he got big in the 80s, yeah.
Yeah. Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson. Now here's one. It's an off the wall shoot. Probably I don't know if anybody knows of this one or not because it's a particular favorite of mine. The band's name is called The Tubes.
Yeah, I remember them.
She's a beauty.
That was a great music video on MTV with the kid getting strapped into the ride going through.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that the one that says she's a beauty, she's one in a million girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know it by the band name, but yeah, I remember that song.
Yep. Billy Joel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Started off in a hard rock heavy metal band. Like for the 70s, yeah.
Night Rosetta, thanks for stopping by.
Good night, Rosetta.
You can find bootlegs. Well, not anymore. Back when like pirating was real, common. You could find bootlegs of stuff that he did. But before he became the Piano Man, yeah, he was in a 70s style hard rock band. Yeah.
Wow.
So was what's his face? Who's the guy that like probably all our parents loved growing up? He had like the Kenny G curly hair. Michael Bolton was in a metal band.
Yeah,
Michael Bolton.
He was in an 80s metal band.
My mom loved Michael Bolton.
What's going on, Slasher? Welcome to the show.
Pixies. Is Pixies the 80s?
Pixies. Ooh.
Like
were they 80s? Yeah, they could have been. They could have started in the 80s, but they were. I feel like they were more of a 90s thing.
Yeah, of course. Alice Cooper. How about that?
Yeah.
Another great one.
Yeah, well, he had a resurgence in the 80s, yeah, with Poison and.
Oh yeah, Bret Michaels and Poison.
I was referring to the song Poison, but no, definitely. I mean,
I heard Poison. My high brain was like, oh.
Well, going back to hairstyle, remember Nelson?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I do.
Rick Nelson's kids, yeah.
Ricky Nelson's twins, yeah.
Yeah.
They had that one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Talking about hair bands, a band I remember my sister liking in the 80s that I never really got into was Striper.
Yeah.
Striper.
Yeah.
My sister was a big Striper fan. Well, she was in general a big hair metal fan, but for a while she was a really big Striper fan.
Well, you talk about hair metal. Well,
I like Striper.
I didn't care for it. It was like before my time. When I was like, no. I didn't like it all back then. There was some of it I did, some of it I didn't.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mark.
I was just gonna say, you guys were y'all spoke on one-hit wonders a second ago, and a couple that just jump out of mind to me are like T'Pau with Heart and Soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that band Will to Power where they did the song "Baby I Love Your Ways."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Fabulous Thunderbirds, Midnight Oil. I mean, there were like a lot.
Midnight
of one-hit
Oil.
wonders.
Yeah.
Were they really a one-hit wonder though? They had a couple of good hits.
They had a couple, yeah, but they're still considered more for that one song that everybody knew than the other.
Beds Are Burning.
Yeah, Midnight Oil. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that song.
How do we
Come on. How about another wacky band, man? Talking Heads.
They were great.
That's who I meant when I said Men at Work. I'm sorry. Talking Heads. Don't ask me why I got those two confused, but when I mentioned Men at Work before, because we were talking about Devo, I was thinking in my head Talking Heads. So
that's all good, man. Men at Work's still a good band from the 80s.
It's funny, we're worried about the ozone layer and climate change. Think how much damage was done with Aquanet hairspray in the 80s.
Ooh, yeah, man.
So, real quick, a little off topic. When I was looking for the Paul's Boutique tape from the Beastie Boys, I found this, and I can't believe I still have it. But it's kind of fitting. Can you see that?
Oh wow!
Oh, The Empire Strikes Back.
Nice. I had that.
The audio book, right? It was like it came with a book, and you played the tape while you read the book.
Dude, I was so anal about that thing. I could quote it word for word when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is a blast from my past.
And I still remember. Oh, that was E.T. Never mind. I had a record, and like it was like this weird. It was like a 45 record, and it was like this weird song, and it's actually, now that I think about it, more about E.T. than anything else. I wish I could remember it. I would tell you guys to look it up because it's kind of funny.
Another few great ones. You got Culture Club and Tears for Fears.
Tears for Fears, yes.
Were they the ones that did Everybody Wants to Rule the World?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They are also known for doing this song that Disturbed cover years later,
Shout.
Oh yeah.
That was their first cover, actually.
Yep, because it was on Down with the Sickness.
I'll tell you somebody we hadn't talked about yet that was all through the 80s and talking about fashion and changing fashion trends in the 80s.
Don't say it.
Madonna.
Who?
Madonna.
Oh, well, yeah.
When Madonna first came out and you had all the chicks in the 80s with like the lace gloves and the Material Girl look or whatever you want to call it, all these Madonna clones. Remember that movie, Desperately Seeking Susan?
Yeah, and if you're a guy trying to hit on a girl, you're just thinking, man, I just got to take more stuff off.
Well, speaking of great 80s songs that became like good covers, was did you guys see the Netflix movie The Dirt, the Motley Crue?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. I missed that.
For the soundtrack, Motley Crue got together and actually it's funny because they kind of broke their own rule, but I guess they did it for the movie. They recorded 3 songs for the movie. One of them was a cover of Like a Virgin.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's kind of weird at first when you first start listening to it, but then as you're listening to it, you're like, wow, this really kicks ass.
My girlfriend got me to look up the soundtrack as soon as that movie hit, and I heard that, and I literally, my jaw dropped, and I said, "What the fuck?"
Right? Like when I first heard it, I was like, "Really? Are they doing Like a Virgin right now?"
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, Seth, you need to watch The Dirt. It was a good movie, or I thought it was a good movie.
Is it still on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, it just came out like a month ago. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's a Netflix original, so I'm sure it'll be up there for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely well worth the watch. I didn't think I would like that whatsoever, and I actually got really into it, even though I knew the story of Motley Crue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Going back to one of the movies we talked about last week, St. Elmo's Fire, man. Mm-hmm. Dan Hartman.
Yeah, Hearts on Fire.
I Can Dream About You.
Oh yeah.
I believe. No, wait a minute. No, what was that?
That was in there as well, but Hearts on Fire was the other song that soundtrack was really well known for.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't there also actually a song called St. Elmo's Fire in the 80s?
Yes.
Yeah, that was John Elmos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking about, man. I'm stoned. Sorry.
It's all good, man. Hell 420.
You're
420.
Hell 420.
Playing your part. We'll put the banner up in case anybody forgot. We have 2 stoners and a drunk, and somebody that identifies with stoners and drunks with us tonight.
Yes, I'm non-binary when it comes to getting intoxicated.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony is our tiebreaker. Yeah.
This
he
says
broke
it
the
all.
tie for y'all then, because y'all were already beating me anyway.
This says it all. I just reached in his drawer to get the jar of medicine, and I opened it up and poured it out. Looked down, I realized I'd grabbed the empty jar.
Okay, I was wrong, guys. I was on Candy in the chat mentioned John Parr did St. Elmo's Fire.
Yes, Chad, please help us. Apparently, some
Candy
of us are stoned.
Candy Cane's on fire with the 80s bands tonight.
Yeah.
Paul
Abdul.
Wow, she come out in the 80s?
Paul Abdul, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
90s.
No,
so
Paul Abdul.
Whitney Houston, Paul Abdul, Mariah Carey started in the 80s. All those, like, women crooners, I call them. Yeah.
Oh, another good woman band, the Go-Go's.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the Go-Go's.
Oh, yeah, the Go-Go's.
Belinda Carlisle and the girls. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Should I get cheesy right now?
Go ahead.
Sure, man. Go whichever way you want to go.
Should we say Tiffany?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Tiffany.
Basically got famous just doing a bunch of Beatles covers, going like playing in strip malls.
Oh, I think we're alone now. It's like, all right, yeah.
Yeah,
I think Weird Al Yankovic, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the 80s.
Yes.
We got Mary Mayhem joining us in the chat. The lovely Mary Mayhem.
Welcome, Mary. Thank you for joining us.
And for those that don't know, she will be on Star Wars Anna, the Star Wars Girls channel tomorrow sometime, and she will be on there to do, I think, an interview.
Nice.
And we can't play it for copyright reasons, but everybody in your mind, when you hear Mock say that, hear the Jeffersons theme in your mind. Well, we're moving on up.
Well. I'm sorry, guys, but Redneck Nation.
Redneck Nation.
No, that's true. Redneck Nation. Sorry, Anthony, but you're outvoted on Redneck Nation.
Yeah. I don't identify with that. I guess
We'll give you an honorary card to come in the South, though, free of charge.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I believe you would thoroughly enjoy yourself.
If it helps any, I used to do a lot of business with a gentleman from Kentucky. Kentucky. And I used to go down there and hang out with him, and funny dude. He's
born and raised in Kentucky.
Were you? Yeah.
Yeah, in Louisville.
I don't remember where he was from. He was in the sticks, man. Like, I'm usually pretty good going anywhere, and even I felt like, all right, they're not gonna take to me.
Was it like the mountains of Kentucky?
Yeah. He was up in the hills. He was a farmer, and I used to go down and I don't know. Can I talk freely on this? Because I don't care.
Oh, go ahead, man.
It's your channel.
Oh, no. You speak freely, man. It's two stoners and a drunk. We're not too worried about anything.
What you want, man?
I used to go down and pick up and bring it back up north.
There you go.
And he was a funny dude. His name was Carl, and my buddy who used to drive a truck up and down the East Coast, and he met him first, and then I would take the ride down with him, and he was a funny dude. And he'd be like, "Just hear some of that Christmas weed. You know what I'm saying? It smells like the Christmas trees over here." And talk like real fast and everything. And I was like, and then we were at a bar. It was like the diviest of dive bars. Like I think it was like literally just something somebody built just so they had a place to go drink. And we went there, and I forget the girl's name, but this girl comes in. She had to be like, I'm not body shaming, but she was a big girl. And he'd go, "That there," I'm just going to say Martha because I can't remember her name. But he's like, "That there's Martha. She's a big old girl that hurt the man."
Hurt the man.
They used to joke and say that weed was Kentucky's biggest cash crop, but they wouldn't count it because it was illegal. So they said it was tobacco.
That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he told me too.
Us in Virginia, we don't know anything about such things here.
So. No, I'm sure you don't. Yeah, you're.
Yes, this is all tobacco land. That's all we grow, that and food.
Here's an 80s band. Here's an 80s band, and it's very obscure. And probably if you're not in the Northeast, you probably don't know who they are. But if you're a real diehard rock and punk rock fan, you might. Mucky Pup. Anybody know Mucky Pup?
No.
Never heard of it.
That's one I've never heard of.
Now check it. You might know one. They have one big song called "Hippies Hate Water" that kind of made the rounds. But if you have never heard of Mucky Pup, check them out. Especially if you like rock music and you like punk rock and stuff like that. They're funny as hell, and they're very political. Like they bashed on Reagan. They bashed on everybody. You know what I mean? They had a song called "Reagan Knew," talking about the whole with Oliver North and everything.
Apparently, you and Wookie are on the same page in a lot of ways because he says, "Yes, Mucky."
Mucky, dude, Wookie, he's a good guy. I like Wookie already. Mucky Pup. They're from Jersey too. I hung out with them like 2 years ago. They played at a local club. They got like a reunion tour with DRI, Mucky Pup, and some other band. Like I forget who they were. And yeah, good guys. They're really funny dudes.
Well, we had another special guest slide in on the panel with us, the beautiful Miss Mary Mayhem.
Yep, the Mistress of Mayhem. What's going on, darling?
Good evening.
Mary.
So you'll get the picture tonight instead of me.
Why don't you go on, Mary, and since you just got here, plug your channel and go. Feel free to plug the awesome interview you're gonna have tomorrow night.
Oh, I'm so excited about that. So I got a message from Anna, that Star Wars girl, last week, and she had asked me how I would feel about coming, and I said sure. Like, are you kidding me? I would love that. I would love that so much. So she was like, well, hey, what days are good for you? And I was like, well, usually Mondays and Thursdays are fairly clear for me. So I was like, well, let's go ahead and do this thing. So tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, I would be hanging out with Anna, that Star Wars girl, getting interviewed by Anna. That is so bizarre. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Congratulations.
Indeed.
Nice. Congrats.
I know.
Everybody, we're moving on up.
We'll see what happens.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Welcome, Senate.
So,
I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you for hanging out.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, you'll do good. We got faith in you.
Yeah, you're gonna do great.
Yeah.
got it.
So come on, you musical genius, Miss Mary Mayhem. What you know about this?
Oh no. Well, okay, so I was listening. You guys were talking about bands and stuff. Truth be told, I grew up in the 90s, and I was extremely sheltered. So I'm not together sure if I can keep up, just because mainly I was a good Christian girl who listened to Christian music and didn't really get into outside secular music until I was a bit older, and mom couldn't really tell me no. So yeah. Yeah. So I can
that's all good. I figured you done enough karaoke to know some 80s.
Oh, sure. But mostly the pop culture mainstream, what everybody does stuff.
Hey, anything goes. There's a lot we ain't mentioned yet. And the show's been going for a little bit already, I could throw out some off the wall ones there, but then again, maybe a lot of people wouldn't even know who they were because it might have not been their style of music.
I don't know. The chat this week has been like last week. They've been pulling out stuff I hadn't even thought of.
Yeah, I just saw Wookie pull out Cannibal Corpse, which made me go right to Overkill. Obituary.
I'm honestly, I'm just such a mess when it comes to that. Let's see here. 80s. Mostly I like, let's see, I don't even know if it's 80s. What am I trying to think of right now? Love Shack. I don't know if that's 80s or that's probably 90s.
The B-52s. I love the B-52s. They're from, I think, Athens, Georgia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they were like a college band, I think, when they started in Athens, Georgia, playing like the local bars and stuff there before they became big.
I have no idea.
I've got an obscure one. The band is called Bow Wow Wow.
Yes.
I Want Candy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not familiar with it at all.
Speaking of Candy, wow. Candy pulled out Bananarama.
There you go. Yep.
I'm not at all familiar.
I already mentioned DRI, Wookie. You're late.
Yeah, DRI. That was a good band too.
Yeah.
There's this lady called Stacy Q. She had a song called Two of Hearts.
Oh yeah, Two of Hearts, two hearts to beat as one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
Jermaine Stewart. We don't have to take our clothes off.
Oh yeah.
Cherry wine.
Yeah, it's talking about cherry wine. Yep. Robert Palmer.
Here, I'll throw one out for Wookie. Guar.
Oh, Guar. I know Mary wasn't allowed to listen to Guar.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Those were some great rockers. They had a great gimmick with the outfits.
Oh, if you look at one of their concerts even now, it would kind of make you have nightmares, all the weird shit and costumes and stuff on stage.
Yeah.
I still have my white T-shirt from the first Guar concert I ever went to, all stained with all the fake blood and everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, let me get this stuff slapped out of me. How about some Wham and George Michael?
Oh, I know who Wham is.
Wham.
Well, mostly I think I know them for didn't they do Last Christmas?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how I know them.
Really? In other words, you don't know Wake Me Up Before You Go?
Oh yeah.
It's like, man,
you have to remind me.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
I know, I'm sad. It's sad. It's so sad. It's so pathetic. I know.
There was another band that kind of stood out in the 80s that Candy Cane talked about with Salt and Pepper.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the hip hop kind of revolution and everything. Yeah, we never even.
Oh, okay. Well, then MC Hammer himself,
Yeah, Vanilla Ice.
Oh wow.
Oh, Vanilla Ice.
Ooh, Vanilla Ice. Yeah.
I had his
Turtle Rap.
Yeah, I had Vanilla Ice's tape, Ice Ice Baby, and everything on it.
I probably still have it over here.
The name of the song is "Pump Up the Jam" by a group of guys called Mars.
Pump.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember that one. Yeah, kind of an electric dance kind of song.
Yep.
Who was the ones that did I Got the Power?
Got that snap.
Snap,
Yeah.
yes.
He had a couple of songs that were pretty good there, but that was the one he's most famous for.
CNC Music Factory.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was my jam back in my day.
Remember though how like in the videos and stuff they had like that real skinny hot girl and it was really like a big chick that was singing off. It was
Oh yeah,
the songs.
Totally.
there was a big controversy about that.
Oh, well, speaking of that, Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, talk about a
yeah.
controversy.
Oh, there is more songs that we will never remember. There's another band.
Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Naked Eyes, dude. Always something there to remind me.
Always
There's something there to remind me. Yeah, that.
Was
Yeah.
Tone Loc in the 80s or 90s?
80s.
Yeah.
I was in junior high, so 80s, yeah.
Yeah, buddy. We're old. Oh man, what is that? Lionel Richie.
Oh, Lionel Richie.
Hall and Oates.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I love that that show he had Hall something at Daryl's where he just had people come up and it was just them jamming in his garage.
Oh wow, yeah.
Has anybody seen that? He had some great musicians. He had Rob Thomas on there. He had I can't think. It was awesome. It was great. And I like his style of playing now better than I did when he was in the 80s. Daryl Hall.
Man, Wookie and Candy Cane both got a couple good ones. The good old fashioned, the Two Live Crew.
Yeah.
And then Candy Cane breaks out USA for Africa. We Are the World.
Well, that's kind of cheating because that has like a bunch of 80 stars in it.
Yeah, that
Exactly.
was a collaboration of like 50 people or some shit.
You just covered yourself for like a good 10 minutes on that one, Wookie.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
And if you want to even double down on that, then you can go with
Candy
Band-Aid.
did that. I'm sorry. Candy did that. I'm sorry. Candy. Yeah.
Then they had Band-Aid as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't Farm Aid in there somewhere too?
Yeah, they had a couple aids out there. You know, they had the We Are the World. They had Band-Aid, Farm Aid. I'm surprised they didn't come up with some Kool-Aid somewhere in there.
Can you
All right, well, here's one. Kenny Rogers,
Yes.
the gambler. Oh, I'm sorry. I kept cutting you off.
guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
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 You can't hear me. You guys keep having a really hard time following what anybody's saying.
Yeah, you do break up a little bit, but you must be on your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not actually. I think right now, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, you are cutting in and out on our end.
That sounds better now, though.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't do anything. So, you guys.
Well, if you're
Can you see the control panel at the bottom of the StreamYards?
The settings.
Yeah. Turn on,
Yeah.
disable the audio process and see if that makes any difference.
Okay.
All right. Well, it
We'll
sounded
talk
fine
away.
that time.
Not help.
We just can't get you right on here.
There's definitely still some bugs in StreamYard.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it back on.
It might help if me and Sith mute out so there's less background racket for her speakers and all that.
Don't do that for me.
Yeah.
Don't do that for me. I don't even know if I can engage in the conversation the way you guys can. You guys are beasts at this stuff, and I'm just sitting here going, Durr. I don't know, George.
Well, to be fair, Mary, when I woke up today, I turned on iHeartRadio and just started playing a lot of 80s music and writing them down. So I cheated.
Y'all cheat. Dreams and stuff. What it is that we're supposed to just homework. So.
Nobody said you had to do homework. You're hanging out with two stoners and a drunk.
And another stoner? No, not a stoner anymore, I don't think. Somebody is, I don't know what Anthony is. What do you call him?
I'm non-binary when it comes to getting intoxicated.
Yeah, he promotes both camps.
I'm afraid I'm out of not alcohol, but the stuff to mix alcohol with. So you won't be getting me drunk tonight. So
just drink it on the rocks. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, actually, I'm about to go pour a scotch too. I think. I think those beers just wore off on me.
I don't really.
Oh, go ahead, Mox.
I don't really know if they were a '80s band, but Seven Mary 3.
No, they were '90s. Actually, no, they were early 2000s. I don't think they were out in the 90s.
Yeah, those are good songs and bands. I don't think though that they were 80s.
That's why the chat pointed out Toto.
Oh yeah, Toto and Asia.
Asia, yes, Toto and Asia.
Was Toto 80s or was Toto 70s?
80s.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure they were at least out in the 80s.
Mary, can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
It might help you if you've got a set. Put you some headphones on.
I do have headphones. Let's see here. They're ugly. They're so ugly.
Well, you got your camera off, so why are you worried?
We can't see you anyway.
They're these giant gamer headphones from back in the day. So,
what do you think I'm wearing?
Well, it's a little different, and actually, they are quite similar to yours, except mine are blue and black. But
DJ Odyssey called out the Stray Cats with Brian Setzer.
Oh yes.
Oh, I like some Brian Setzer.
Stray Cat Strut, man, that was an awesome song.
Yeah.
Senate was asking who's Mary interviewing. You want to drop that link again, Mox, for her interview for tomorrow with that Star Wars girl, if you have it handy.
by Anna, which is so cool. You can actually catch it over on her channel. So,
you sound really good right now.
So you guys want to show up?
Made a difference.
Well, you guys sound the same, and I didn't plug in the microphone. I just the headset microphone, just the headbud part, the earbud part. So,
it could be just there's not feedback now because I was hearing some echo, so maybe there's not feedback now because you put headphones on.
That's probably it.
Banana. Banana.
No one knows the voodoo of StreamYard.
You too.
Gypsies.
Has anybody mentioned U2 yet?
No, we haven't.
No.
They were an amazing band spanning a lot of years now.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't like them back then, and now I love them. And it's probably more nostalgia than anything, but yeah, I love U2.
They had such a great guitar sound, and just, you know, the lead singer, you know, has a great voice, and you just don't hear a lot of that now.
Yeah, DJ, UB40.
The best part is The Edge didn't know, like, for like the first like 4 albums, didn't know how to read music. He didn't even know like what a G chord was. and they recorded 4 albums. It was that's how like much of an idiot savant he is when it comes to the guitar.
I'm having to sit here and avoid the urge to be a complete troll and say Creed.
Good band. That was a 90s band.
Mary's getting bumped.
Hey, no. Hey, no about it. Creed's an awesome band. I love Creed.
I'm being a troll. I know what they are.
Simple Minds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you forget about it.
Oh yeah, The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
That song always makes me think of The Breakfast Club.
You can't help but think of that movie, and Judd Nelson throwing his arm up at the end when you hear that song now.
Oh yeah.
Or I mean, just another one that has like some obscure people on the soundtrack, the Lost Boys soundtrack.
Yeah, buddy.
Mick G, who does "Cry Little Sister."
Yep.
Who does the cover of "People Are Strange"? They were a good band too.
Oh,
hang on, I can tell you. Give me a second.
Is that right? Is that what am I thinking
Candy
right?
Candy Cane says the Pet Shop Boys. I don't know if she's saying that's the answer, or have we talked about the Pet Shop?
Echo and the Bunnyman did a cover of that song.
That's it. That's who it is. Yep.
Oh, yeah, DJ got it.
And somebody did a cover of "Cry Little Sister" that I have. I can't remember who.
Yes, I know.
A band called Aiden. It's off the.
No, another band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another band.
Marilyn Manson.
Oh,
no.
I've
got the song. Hang on.
Cry
I'm getting
Little
there.
Sister. Yeah,
hang on, I'm getting there.
Silver Sun Pigs did a copy too.
I'm getting there. Hang on.
Aiden did the cover for the sequel to Lost Boys. But I know the one you're talking about because the one that I think the one that Sith is talking about, they have a regular version.
Seasons After.
Yes, they have an acoustic version also.
Oh, I see. I ain't heard that one.
Yeah. Look up their acoustic version.
That'd be cool because I thought they did a good cover of that song.
Yeah. The acoustic version's cool. I want to try to figure the acoustic version out because I think that would be cool to do since I kind of only do acoustic stuff now.
Well, since you speak of that, not to put you on the spot, you were talking about getting a scotch. Could we convince you to grab your guitar? Do you know an 80s song maybe you could play us out with towards the end here? We've been going an hour and a half, so pretty soon we'll be wrapping up.
All right, let me get a scotch first. Hold on.
Okay.
Which, speaking of time frames, about 1:30 a.m., if you guys don't know, there's a show called High Stranges with Creepy Little Book. And I dropped a link in there a little while ago, and he covers a lot of diverse topics. Tonight, I think he's covering the Templars or something like that. I'm stoned. Y'all can't expect much.
Real quick, DJ, yes, his full name is Gerald McMahon, but he also goes by Mick G. So you'll probably wind up seeing songs credited to Mick G. That's Gerald McMahon. And Typo Negative, while they were big in the 90s, yes, they did come out in the late 80s, right after Carnivore. Ha! Beat you to it, Wookie. All right, let me go get that scotch.
All right, guys, how about some Loverboy?
That's old school, definitely.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because of my memory. A lot of these songs I can't remember by the band, but if you say the song or I hear the song, I remember it.
Yeah, loving every minute of it.
Oh, okay. See, that's all you had to say, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I hear the song in my head.
Who was it that did the song Sister Christian? Because that band was early 80s, and they had some really good songs.
Oh,
Sister Christian, that was, hang on, I'll tell you right about now. Sister Christian, Night Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good song.
Yeah, Night Ranger. ZZ Top.
Oh, I can't believe we hadn't talked about ZZ Top.
Oh, every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man.
and a beard.
That's right. All my friends are bearded.
I ain't got a beard. I got a goatee, man. I got a tease. That's what I got.
It's a beardish, okay?
Beard. All right, I'm high. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's a word.
Yeah, it's a word.
Oh my goodness.
Mary's like, how did I get on a show with these people? Why
Yeah.
am I here now?
I know exactly how I got here. I clicked a link because Hanstar sent me a link.
Okay,
like,
I'm gonna time to shame myself. All right, how about some New Kids on the Block?
Oh, my sister, one of my sisters was a rabid New Kids on the Block fan.
They were just a hair before my time, but I do. It was all about me some Joey. Yeah, it was great.
JJ Fad, Supersonic.
Oh yeah.
Cool in the Gang. Were they 80s? I thought they were 70s.
Wow. Well, they rolled into the 80s. I think Celebration was in the 80s.
Hmm.
Yeah, Celebration and Get Down on It was 80 and 81.
Oh
Falco.
yeah, Falco.
Yes.
Wow.
I remember Falco. It was him and a couple other guys that did some really out there songs back then. But Falco, if I'm not mistaken, he did Rock Me Amadeus.
Oh, that was another kind of out there electronic kind of song, synthesizer song.
Yeah. Trying to think of the other one that it was really kind of, I think it was by Taco, was putting on the Ritz.
Oh yeah.
And Murray Head, One Night in Bangkok.
That is an awesome song.
Oh yeah, that is a good song.
Yeah.
That is an awesome song. Yes. How about some Rick Astley?
He's 90s, isn't he?
I was about to say, man, I'm about to Rickroll you. Oh man, I'm just skimming through what music I have right now.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Relax.
Don't do it when you want to get to it. Yeah,
that's a dirty song.
Well, hey, look, there's a lot of songs from the 80s that have double meanings if you want to get real with it. Billy Idol was one of them.
Which one?
Dancing with Myself.
Okay, all right.
Cyndi Lauper's She Bop.
Damn, I forgot about that song.
I have not.
Damn. I'm just out there now. I was like, what?
Yeah, Corey Hart, Sunglasses at Night. Yes. How could you not?
Yeah, because I always joke with Mary when she's on the stream, has her sunglasses on her head.
Oh.
Mary wears her sunglasses at night.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can sorry. Did not mean to take
When your future's so bright, you gotta wear shades.
Yes. The opening to Saved by the Bell.
That is not their song.
I know it's not their song, but that's the only place I associate it with. Leave me alone. I'm high.
Clarence Carter, Stroking. I love that song.
Sing it, Clarence Carter.
Whenever you're ready, Anthony, let us know and we'll all shut up.
Yeah, Future's So Bright, I Gotta Wear Shades was originally done by Timbuk3.
I remember the name of that band.
They might have had a couple of songs, but I think that was the one everybody knew them by.
Yeah, they were kind of one-hit wonders.
What's Anthony going to play for us?
I will take back what I said earlier. If you want to do Bon Jovi, I'm cool with it. Go ahead.
I mean, if it's Anthony at this point, he could do New Kids on the Block, and we'd probably really like it.
Anthony, you're still muted, man.
Actually, I would love to hear Anthony do some New Kids on the Block. That would probably make my night.
Yeah. Give me 1 second, because I'm not getting my guitar to come through. Oh, I see why. Hold on 1 second.
Plug it in, man.
It's plugged in. I just on my whatever you call it. I shouldn't get stoned when I'm trying to talk shop.
I got stoned and I missed it.
And my interface. Thank you. I had it set to microphone, not instrument, so it kind of reads it differently that way. But
hey guys, let's mute out where we can. I know Mary probably can't, but let's mute out so they get a good hearing of what he's going to play.
Okay.
All right.
Everybody in the chat, before we wrap up, Anthony, aka Midnight M, just going to hit us with a song. So we're getting ready to close the show out.
Okay. All right. Just make sure that level is good. Okay. I'm not going to put any effects on. What should I play? Well, since we're doing 80s stuff, right? We'll do an 80s song. And the sun says long-haired freaky people need not apply. So I tucked my hair up under my hat. I went in to ask him why. He said, you look like a fine, outstanding young man. I think you do. So I took off my hat and said, imagine that, homie, working for you. Oh, signs everywhere, signs, fucking up the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that, can't you read the sign? And the sign says anybody caught trespassing with a shot on sight. So I jumped the fence and I yelled to the house, hey, what gives you the right to put up a fence to keep me out or to keep Mother Nature in? If God was here, he'd tell it to your face. The man is some kind of sinner. Signs everywhere, signs, fucking up the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that, can't you read the signs? Hey now, mister, can't you read? You got to have a shirt and tie to get a seat. You can't watch, no, you can't eat. You ain't supposed to be here. And the sign says you got to have a membership card to get inside. And the sign says, everybody welcome, come in, kneel down and pray. And they passed around the plate at the end of it all. I didn't have a penny to pay, so I got me a pen and a paper, and I made up my own fucking sign. I said, thank you, Lord, for thinking about me. I'm alive and doing fine. Oh, signs everywhere, signs, fucking up the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that, can't you read the signs? Signs everywhere, signs, fucking up the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that, can't you read the signs?
Yes.
Wow. Every time.
Thank you, sir.
Grazie.
Damn, we are special.
What a hell of a way to wrap up a show about 80s music.
Hell yeah. That was awesome. I was singing along right with him. I love that song.
Oh, thanks.
Every time Anthony
That
picks
is
up
a
the
good
guitar. I can't
So
throw
we-
my panties on the screen right now, but just, you know.
he can picture it in his mind. You're just slinging all your panties around.
All of them, right at the screen.
Yeah, the whole drawer full of them.
That, dirty ones, everything I own, really. All of it.
Yeah, ShamWow City.
I was going to say that, but I didn't know if it was appropriate or not. Or...
Okay, I did it for you.
It's two stoners and a drunk. We don't have to be very appropriate, I don't guess.
No shame.
This show has been brought to you by ShamWow.
And Hell 420.
Tired of changing your towel when Anthony's playing? Get you some ShamWows.
You guys are making me blush over here. Stop.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have the original panty dropper in the house.
Yep.
So it's all good, Anthony. We love you, brother.
I love you guys too. No, it's good. You know what it is? It's when you play in front of people and they all clap and they cheer and everything like that, but when you're actually, even though we're on camera, when you're kind of sitting in the same room and it happens, you get a little embarrassed. So, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you, man. I'm glad you're here and glad you played for us. Thank you.
Right.
We've been going for about an hour and 45 minutes, so I suggest we kind of start to wrap the show up. How are you going to get anything better than Anthony playing a song anyway? So,
Thanksgiving.
So Anthony, if you want to go on and plug yourself again.
Again, thanks for having me on again for the second week. I appreciate that. You guys can find me over at Midnight Images. And yeah, if you liked what you heard, then you'll hear some other stuff. DJ, I think you mentioned Eddie and the Cruisers before, so you'll probably like the New York City song cover. It's one of my favorite John Cafferty songs, and from the second movie, not the first movie. But yeah, and if you like art and comics and movies and stuff like that, I kind of dabble with a bunch of all that crap. So yeah, come check me out.
And our lovely guest that showed up towards the end, the lovely Mary Mayhem, if you want to go on and plug yourself and then plug your awesome interview tomorrow night.
Oh, sure. Guys, I'm being a hobo tonight, so you're getting my picture instead of me because I've been a bum and working on a lot of different things today. But yes, you can catch me over on my channel, Mary Mayhem, where I do all kinds of stuff. You can actually catch Anthony over there every so often as well. He does some music. I don't know if that's probably some pretty good incentive to come hang out and check my channel out, right? And then tomorrow night I'll be doing an interview over with Anna, that Star Wars girl, over on her channel. So I'm excited. Woo-hoo!
Well, like you always say, we love your face, Mary. So we're glad you joined us.
I love y'all's faces.
And I'm Hawnstar. Obviously, you know my channel because you're here. You can also DM me or follow me on Twitter at HawnstarYT. I've put it in the chat a few times, but we're always looking for topics for our upcoming shows. So if anybody in the chat, you seem to know a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff. So if you have any topics, you can comment on this stream when it's up, and you can comment on it later, or you can DM me on Twitter at HawnstarYT, and we're always looking for more topics. So Sith, Mox, y'all want to plug yourselves?
Well, Mox Prox 1103. You find me on Twitter. You find me at Mary's Channel Modding. And hope y'all have a great night. Hell 420.
Hell 420.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your friendly neighborhood pothead. My name's JJ, also known as Sith Lord 3827. You can follow and DM me on Twitter also at Sith Lord 3827. You guys come up with any good ideas that we should do, we'll look them over. Maybe we might do them at a later date. So like, share, subscribe, and we are glad you were entertained. Please come back.
I think, guys, we had another great show, and we had a great chat again tonight. Really kept things rolling. Filled in the blanks for things that we hadn't even thought about, kind of like when we talked about 80s movies.
Like, damn it, I did homework for the first time in 30 years.
But as we close out, you've been watching Two Stoners and a Drunk, Hale 20, because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And I guess we'll wrap this up if everybody wants to say good night to everybody in the chat.
Night,
good night, everybody in the chat.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Thanks for joining us.